and at Canisius. Nice to have some momentum back on their side coming into tonight's matchup.
Right, you had the first 2 rough games between Bryant and Pittsburgh, but Coach was saying it was nice to be able to bounce back after that and have that ability to recover, and again, do this here at Newman for their home opener.
Yeah, you think about the narrative of the Big Red season so far. Really struggled in that opener against Bryant, and Emily Garner was pretty blunt with us about that. Said, look, only scoring 38 points, the offense never really got going. But you think about since that season opening loss, you lose at Pitt by only 2 points. That's an ACC program hanging with the squad, and the Panthers falling by just 2, and then you win back-to-back road games. They feel like they have put some of those early season issues that loomed large in the Bryant game behind them.
It's about making those corrections and being able to adapt. We see that one of the things that they do well, though, is the ability to, have that higher field goal percentage, one of the top in the Ivy League. So being able to come into this game, despite it not being within the conference, having that ability to go in confident with your shooting.
Big Red did shoot 52% from the floor last time out against Canisius. On the flip side for Colgate, mentioned Shannon Bush, year number 1 at the helm of this Raiders program. They are coming in winners of their last 3, obviously, including last time out at home against New Hampshire. Raiders put up 89 points. This is an offense that can score in a hurry, and that offense hoping that they can translate it over on the road tonight here at Newman Arena. Cornell in the home whites, Raiders in the visiting maroons. So let's do it from Newman. Home opener 2025 for Emily Garner's Big Red. No crazy surprises to the starting 5 as far as Cornell is concerned. We'll give it to you right after this first look. Rachel Kaus in the post trying to go to work. Emily Pape, corner 3 on the way. Too strong, a rebound fought for, and the Big Red get extra life. Rachel Kaus off the window, no good. Cornell starting 5 in the backcourt, Langston, Jackson, Engels. Kelsey Langston, Clark Jackson, and Paige Engels, that is. Frontcourt duo of Rachel Kaus and Emily Pape, the 2 forwards who both had shots on that first possession. We get our first look of the night at this Raiders offense, but they call a carry against Colgate, and more specifically, Ann Bear, leading scorer for this Raiders squad. So a turnover for the Raiders. Give you their starting 5 as well. 3 guards of the aforementioned Ann Bear, Ella Maybon, Christina Mijette. And then the 2 forwards down low, Abby Ferguson and Amara Strife on the low block.
With that turnover that we just saw into place, that's one of the things that Colgate does struggle with, being able to maintain possession of the ball.
Clark Jackson had it rejected down low. And Cornell to inbound from underneath their own hoop. Jackson, one of the leaders of this Big Red program, and evidently so, the junior from Ohio who had an awesome campaign a year ago. Officials getting things squared away on the far side scorers table. Not quite sure what the holdup and confusion is. Maybe something with the clock. But either way, everybody raring to go on the far right end of the court. And after all, this is the home opener, so maybe a couple of early season things to work out, so to speak, if you will.
But either way, the fans are here. They're excited for this game, and nothing's better than Cornell Big Red here on the court.
Jackson inbounds, and the Big Red reset. They only have 6 on the shot clock to work with. Engels recognizing the urgency, off the bounce, 2 on the timer, scoop layup, no good, and a shot clock violation. It never touched the rim.
Coming off of that, you want to start strong off the gate. We see a little bit of a struggle here, but being able to maintain that composure going into this game, which we mentioned before, is going to be pretty tight.
And Bear running the point for the Raiders. We weren't sure if Bear was going to suit up tonight for Colgate. This is only her 2nd game of the year. Played in the season opener against Siena, but got hurt towards the tail end of that game and hadn't played since. 3-point ball is down the hatch from Amara Strife, letting it fly from range.
Coming out from Bishop Ludden in Syracuse, New York, an absolute dog, honestly, for Colgate. A very strong presence on the court. We're excited to see what she has tonight.
Shannon Bush called her an exceptional leader on our coach call with her earlier today. Big Red still in search of their elusive first points of the night. Entry feed for Kaus, going to work on that low block. Lefty layup is good. Hooping the harm. She'll go to the line for one more.
The junior's been pretty impressive about I believe 45% from the field. So you have somebody like that, you're saying, okay, let's start Kaus today because you know she's going to execute not just today, but for the rest of the season. This is a great start for her.
She has had the hot hand, to say the least. 18 points in back-to-back games for the junior from Illinois. Can't make good on the N1, though. Cornell struggled a little bit from the line, just 68% from the charity stripe on the year so far. Bear into the lane, working on the much taller Emily Pape. Outlet pass, corner J, too strong that time around from Ella Maybon. Cornell wants to run, pedal to the metal for Langston. Now Angles penetrating, forced to pick up her dribble. Clark Jackson going to work down low, gets the kind roll off the rim for two.
Jackson, another one of those strong players for Cornell with that offensive presence. She makes a big impact on the court. We'll see her tonight too.
She has had double figures in 3 straight games. So very similarly to Kaus, has had the hot hand offensively in the early portion of this season. Swinging around for Bear, trampolines for 3, no good. Offensive rebound, Mijette. Extra life for Colgate. Mijette absorbing the contact, and she got hacked down low.
Their game versus UNH for Mijette had 19 minutes on the day. Was 3 for 3 for all of her shots, though, so we'll see more of her, too.
Shooting foul does go against Rachel Kaus, the perpetrator for the Big Red. That's her first, team's first. As the free throw is money for Colgate. Christina Mijette, the senior from Princeton, New Jersey, coming off a 7.3 rebound performance in the win over New Hampshire last week. Something too interesting to think about as far as the narrative of this game is concerned. Cornell wrapping up a stretch, CC. This is their 3rd game in 6 days. Colgate on the flip side, they haven't played in over a week. The legs are certainly a little bit more fresher from a Raiders perspective, comparatively speaking.
But on the other side of that, too, you got somebody that's had the grind that you're used to in terms of the level of competition. So
Angles uses the backboard for 2. Yeah, interesting to kind of think about the pros and cons, right? Is it a good thing or a bad thing, right? You're in the flow of it, right? Your 3rd game in 6 days.
I also think that speaks to the discipline of a team, right? To be able to endure in this. So depending on how this game goes, we'll see whether those legs are really tired or not. We'll see.
Cross-court feed for Bear. Baseline drive not there. Abby Ferguson picked up that pivot foot and traveled. So the Raiders turn it over for the 2nd time tonight. And some offensive struggles here, it looks like, on both ends in the early going a little bit.
Yeah, I would have to say, and even previous to the broadcast, we talked about the idea of being able to crash those boards a little bit more. That's the key to getting that ability to lead your offense. That's what they need right now. More crashing the boards right now.
Touch pass from Angles. Clark Jackson. Angles hollering out the orders with 7 on the timer. Kaus from range. No good. Out of play. Nobody touched it. Colgate basketball. Bear, the senior from Gettysburg, PA, didn't start her college career at Colgate. Initially got going at Manhattan in the MAC. But a transfer and has enjoyed her time in Hamilton, New York ever since coming over. 3-point ball on the way once more. Rims out that time from Abby Ferguson.
And for Bear, not just enjoying her time, but having an impact. I mean, 22 points versus Siena. That must make all the Colgate people happy.
Emily Pape making the Cornell faithful happy. Knocks down the trifecta. And just like that, Big Red, a 5-point early cushion.
Talking to Coach Bush about the impact of the game. She was just talking about the identity and having outlooking and out-toughing and out-teaming every single person. So the grind coming from Colgate right now as they've taken more of a lead with threes, which is one thing they do. It's impressive.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was kind of a motif in our chats with both coaches, talking about that identity piece. Langston from range, too much mustard on it. Jackson tried to save it, went sprawling into the Colgate bench. And it will be Colgate basketball as we hit our first media timeout of the evening. 2-point lead for the Big Red. Just get going here from Newman Arena. Right back after these. Cornell Big Red already 4 different scorers, 4 of 10 from the floor. They've forced Colgate into a couple of early turnovers. And that's why it's a 2-point Cornell cushion as we welcome you back to Newman Arena. Johnny Gadamowicz, CC Gabriel with you on this Tuesday night from Ithaca. Raiders trying to get it going offensively. Good move down low, but Ella Maybon couldn't make good on the jumper. Big Red in the half court. Mentioned Cornell 4 of 10 from the floor to open up this ball game. Still the same starting 5 out there for Emily Garner's crew at this point. Kelsey Langston far wing looking for options. Jackson surging her way up ahead. Kick out angles. Baseline drive, and she is fouled. And Cece, that's a foul you just can't really afford to commit if you're Colgate. You had Cornell. Shot clock waning. Now they get a fresh 20 to work with.
And with that reset comes a reset of mentality as well. As we've mentioned, there's a lot of tension in this game between having Shannon Bush and Emily Garner facing off with each other for the first time since they actually shared the same team between head coach and associate head coach. You got to have a strong mentality going into this as the quarter winds down.
Couple of subs to tell you about. Allie Pape into the contest for the Big Red. Angles three-pointer no good. And a loose ball foul immediately there afterwards. They say against Cornell, they'll hit Rachel Kaus with the personal. So that already Kaus' second. And right on cue, Emily Garner doesn't want to risk Rachel Kaus in foul trouble, so Grace Renners into the ball game to take her spot. Should tell you as well for Colgate, Laura Cook did just check in as well. The senior from Ontario, averaging 25 minutes per game off the bench through the first 3 contests of the year for the Raiders. Three-pointer on the way from Cook. No good. Long rebound. Ferguson tracks it down and keeps it alive for Colgate. Bear, a deep 3, way off. And it'll be Cornell basketball.
One of the things I like about Cook right now is she, as you mentioned, she just entered the game. When you enter the game, you take a shot. Being able to take that initiative, we talked about how there's a little bit of a deficit between field goal attempts. This is something that Colgate needs right now. Laura Cook to be just shooting the ball. It can be the 3 ball. You can be inside the paint. But as long as you go ahead and you're making those shots or attempting them.
Yeah, Cornell has already attempted almost twice as many shots as Colgate has, 11-6. Emily Pape lost control. Swarming defense and good hands that time from Abby Ferguson to pry it free.
Speaking about the Papes, you have Allie and Emily playing at Newman for the first time together, the sisters.
It's got to be a cool moment.
Amazing moment.
Allie, a freshman. Emily, a senior. Emily, one of the leaders of this team, who has been an impact player ever since her freshman year. Angles on the drive. Off the window, but she was fouled and will go to the line for a pair.
Now, this is one of the things that you see pretty often from this team. They do go to the line, and being able to draw those fouls, especially within the minutes as time winds down in the quarter, can you draw those fouls in clutch moments? It's 9-7 now, but at the point, once they get to the fourth quarter, those points and these free throws and making them will start to matter.
First free throw, no good from Engels. Tatiana Matthews set to check in for Colgate. Not quite yet, though, as Engels' second also no good. So the Big Red leave a couple of points up for grabs at the line. In the meantime, it's Maybon going to work. Puts it on the floor. Ella Maybon elevates and sticks it off the window for 2. Tie game. Maybon had a monster game last time out. 35 points against UNH. By far the highest total by any Colgate player in a single game yet this year. In the meantime, a travel from Allie Pape. And now the aforementioned Tatiana Matthews checking into the contest for the Raiders.
And this is when we see Colgate start to ramp things up a little bit with the offense. Now tied up 9-9. Maybon, potentially Cook as well, can maybe ramp things up, get it slowly going so this offense can be more productive.
Also worth noting, Audrey Chen, fresh into the game for the Big Red. See her number 12 in the red and white. Applying the defense right now on Ann Bear. Good hands from Chen. Got a hand on it, but Colgate still with possession. Bear looking for options. Raiders struggling to get that entry feed, so Bear just chucks from 3, and why not? But look what I found from Ann Bear.
I mean, when you got nothing left, just shoot the 3 ball, and that's what Ann Bear does. A high person that produces for Colgate.
Allie Pape on the low block, lost the basketball, bodies hit the deck. Emily Pape the recovery, her jumper too strong. Big Red stalling out a little bit offensively here. They've been stuck on 9 for a little while. But Tatiana Matthews traveling in transition.
And as they struggle offensively, here they are also struggling defensively as we see that Colgate's now taking the lead. This is when you need to be able to balance both a little bit. As we talked about, getting those boards, also swinging the ball more in terms of Cornell. Can you make those plays? Can you be a definitive playmaker so you can get these points as you rack up and you have 1:16 left?
Too much mustard on that pass from Langston. And a little bit of a miscommunication gives possession right back to the Raiders. Colgate has gone to the bench early and often. We're seeing Shannon Bush here, CC, kind of a revolving door as far as the minutes are concerned. And that was something she made note of during our chat earlier today. Really feels like the depth piece is something that Colgate excels in. They are very confident going to the bench and not seeing a drop-off in production whatsoever.
I would have to agree. She mentioned that she feels like it's different people literally every night. And the fact that if there's foul trouble, if people are injured, she feels comfortable going to her bench because of how much talent there is.
12 returners on this Raiders squad. Mid-range 2, Cash. Ella Mabon and the pure stroke from the mid-range. About a 14-second differential between shot and game clock here. Waning moments of quarter number 1 from Newman. Cornell trying to end it on a high note. Chen, trampolines for 3, no good. Offensive rebound and a strong take, but an offensive foul. Grace Renner's just lowering that shoulder a little too much.
But the 6'1" first year, though, that's what you need. You need a little bit of that aggressiveness. Now, entering your first collegiate year in basketball, sometimes you got to be able to mediate those kinds of things. But what she's doing right now and being more aggressive in the paint is exactly what Cornell needs right now.
Colgate, don't look now, is on a 10-0 run over the course of the last 5 minutes or so. Raiders evidently want to hold for the last shot here. Bear zigzagging her way around. Looking for the open teammate, finds Mabon. 5 on the ticker. Outlet feed and a 3 on the way from Strife. No good. And that is how our first quarter draws to a close. It was a hot start for the Big Red, but Colgate and this week, she feels like right now, year 2, middle of November, the brand of basketball they are playing relative to this time last year when she was brand new at the helm, a lot better. Feels like the expectation from the returners, knowing what the deal is, has put them in a better spot this go around. But so far tonight, CC, it has been all Colgate. Ella Mabon knocking down shots.
Yeah, you were saying it's all Colgate. I was thinking it's all Ella Mabon a little bit there with the amount of initiative she's taking. And this is when you need on Cornell's standpoint to see Rachel Cowles and Kelsey Langston step it up and get those shots and be more productive there.
No Cornell player with more than 3 points in that first quarter. In the meantime, Mabon herself already has 6. 4 on the timer. They feed the post. Renners, turnaround Jay, off the window. No. And the offensive struggle is persisting now for the Big Red. They are just 4 of 14 from the floor. In the meantime, Mabon, she's got the hot hand. Why not? The junior from Fairport, New York, having a first half here in Ithaca.
And this is when you want to see, we talked a little bit about Grace Renners before, being the big on the team, having that initiative to cover somebody like that.
Colgate loves to push the break. Strife lets it fly. Not that time. Renners climbs the ladder for the board. So Ella Mabon, told you, 35 points last time out. She was 13 of 17 shooting against UNH last time. She's up to 8 already. Deep 3 that time from Pape. No. Offensive board Cornell. So you do your math, 35 and 8. That's 43 points over the last, 5 quarters and change? For Ella Mabon, she has been otherworldly to start the year for Colgate.
And we even talked about before how they're on a 1-week stretch of no games, but it seems like she's been playing this entire time.
Much needed shot there for the Big Red. Emily Pape from downtown tacks on 3. And CC, that breaks a run of about 7 minutes of game time with no scoring for Cornell. A much needed bucket.
Now, while that's happening, it's almost just like when you get one shot, it kind of pushes you to say, okay, let me take another one. And then here we go, another one, this time by hopefully Cornell in this case.
14-3 run for Colgate even still. Out of bounds, it'll be Cornell basketball. Yeah, Colgate has had to deal with a little bit of a nagging injury bug in the early portion of this season. Players in and out of the lineup. Told you about Ann Bear earlier. Hasn't played since the opener, but she has looked the part so far tonight, running the point for this Raiders attack. Surveying here with Kelsey Langston, putting the clamps on, defending her. 6 on the timer. Bear working on Langston. That's been a matchup to watch early and a travel. Christina Majette just one too many steps.
Now, while Majette just had that little bit of a struggle there with getting that travel, you look at what she's doing defensively with the rebounds. This is what you need. You see, everyone else is struggling to get the ball in the hoop. But here, Majette, on that end, she said, okay, let me get some rebounds. And that's how she's contributing to this game in this case.
Yeah, she's got 4 boards already. Cornell, though, oddly enough, is +2 on the glass as a team when it comes to the rebounding battle. Renners extending her range. Grace Renners from downtown. Cornell trims the deficit to just 3, thanks to the 3 ball from the freshman from Washington. Angles does a nice job to get a hand in there. Colgate still on it. Scoop layup falls. Christina Majette going to work down low.
Said, let me get some rebounds. Let me get some buckets too. A little bit of a duo there.
So Majette now. 3 points to pair with those 4 boards as Pape spots up. Off the heel. Rebound Colgate. Raiders want to run. Bear working on the taller Pape. 3-pointer on the way. Won't fall that time from Mabon. A little bit of a heat check, but an offensive board from Kennedy Parrott. Parrott, the only freshman that has seen some run for Colgate so far this year. Jackson's mid-range J, too strong. Colgate 12 returners, so it's going to be tough for first years to crack the rotation, but Parrott has done that. There's a 3-pointer that time, too strong. Off the window and in, and 2 more for Mabon. Why not? Time out Cornell. Emily Garner wants to talk things over. The Colgate lead is 9. We'll step aside. Raiders hot here in this first half. 3-0 Colgate Raiders off and running in game number 4 of their campaign, paced by 10 points already from Ella Mabon. She's accounted for nearly half of Colgate's offense, CC.
She's been driving the game, and when you have a player like that, it makes your heart stop a little bit because you're like, whoa, this is a lot to deal with. But she is a lot to deal with because she's been dominating on the court so far throughout the last quarter and roughly 5 minutes ago in this next one.
Coming into play today, averaging right around 20 points per game, and she is well on pace to hit that average mark. Out of the break, Cornell trying to get things going offensively. Big Red shooting just 30% from the floor. Taking up a lot of the shot clock, too, here in this first half on every possession. Audrey Chen pulls the trigger. Can't hit.
In the first quarter, we talked about how Colgate needs to be able to step it up and make more shots, and now here they are. 10 for 21 from the field. Meanwhile, Cornell is 6 for 21. They've been able to get back that and turn up the offensive volume there.
High post feed for Christina Majette. Thought about the step back, Jay, but a travel. It's not the first time this half we've seen Majette commit that traveling violation.
I was just about to say I was the second one.
Great minds think alike.
Right?
Yeah, Colgate, the offense red hot. Obviously, the 89 points against New Hampshire last time out, they shot 55% as a team in that game. And they have carried that over quite nicely, even though it was over a week ago at this point. Renners, double team comes, swarming defense from the Raiders, and they're on it.
And this is the pressure that you want to see. And honestly, this is why they're doing so well. They're putting on the pressure defensively. We talked about how there was a little bit of a struggle for rebounds and for getting points as well. But now you see a little bit more depth between Strife going up for a rebound and Ferguson as well, and then Majette leading.
And Bear for 3, not that time. Rebound fought for, Angles corrals. Yeah, Shannon Bush sharing with us. The defense kind of fuels the offense, right? It's the defensive stops that enable the Raiders to get out and run that transition game that they like to get into. Foul down low. Pape got tied up with Ferguson, and they hit number 41 in maroon. Only foul number 1 on Ferguson. Couple of subs for the Big Red as Kelsey Langston back into the game. Also Vivian Nee seeing her first bit of run tonight.
But now stepping off the court is Renners, who did have a presence as the leading rebounder. So interesting to see how that'll play out in the next couple minutes.
And so we'll reset it for you. The 5 on the court for Cornell. They go with Chen, Nee, the Pape sisters, and Langston. Here's Emily Pape, the older of the two. Kick out for Allie. The first year puts it on the floor. Had to shoot with 2 on the timer. And a jump ball call. Nice job by Allie Pape even after her miss, CC. Not giving up on the play.
Yeah, that relentlessness is perfect. Again, 3:21 left to clock. Possession is key. So if you could go ahead, get into this play, potentially cause a foul, this is what matters. But now they have struggled with the free throw, though. They haven't made a single one, so they would need to make a couple.
Entry feed for Nee. Back to the basket. Pape, step back 3 on the way. No good. And a loose ball foul in pursuit of the rebound. See who they tag it against. Does go against Ella Mabon for Colgate, so it will stay with the Big Red. .309 to go, quarter number 2. Colgate going to make another sub as Mabon to the bench. So now an opportunity for Cornell to maybe knife their way back into this thing with the hottest Colgate player not on the court. Emily Pape took a tumble in front of the Colgate bench. Here comes that Raiders transition game once more. Swinging around for Bear, and she was fouled. Looks like they say on the floor. Does go against Audrey Chen. Jackson checks back in, and yes, they say on the floor. They are not in the act of shooting.
A couple of tumbles in the last couple of plays there shows that maybe things are getting a little aggressive on the court, but it shows that the energy's up for them.
3-pointer straight on, no good. Strife thought she got hacked. Didn't get the whistle. Colgate the O-board. Langston good hands. Out of bounds, though, to stay with the Raiders. That's where Kelsey Langston is so active. For what maybe she lacks on the offensive end, certainly makes up for as maybe the best defender on this Big Red squad. Certainly best on-ball defender. She's drawn the tough matchup tonight of trying to guard Ann Bear. 3-pointer on the way. No good from Cook as the shot clock expires.
Now 2:31 left. We talked about how that transition is important, but as you mentioned before, no Mabon. So this is an opportunity for Cornell to strike back.
All the way around the horn to Jackson. Chen lost control. Regathers with 5 on the timer. Pape back to the basket. Has to get it up and does. But the shot off the front rim. Feels like CC Cornell just taking up too much shot clock. It's taking them a while to set up shop offensively.
And yes, they're swinging the ball, but where the ball needs to go in the hoop.
That entry feed has been tough to come by.
Right.
Deep 2 for Colgate as they tack on 2 more from Abby Ferguson, and the lead now double digits.
And I feel like, as we're mentioning in terms of just swinging the ball, that also is a testament to, who do they have as the playmaker to simply take the shot. You need someone confident to maybe shoot the 3 ball, be inside the field, break some ankles maybe, even if you want to too.
Langston trying to do just that. Lost her dribble. Will stay with Cornell. Paige Angles back into the game for the Big Red. Tatiana Matthews returns for Colgate. Shannon Bush hollering out the orders. Of course, plenty of familiarity here at Newman. Last year's associate head coach under Emily Garner. A whistle down low. Colgate will take over. They say Langston tiptoed that end line a little too closely. Yeah, it was interesting to chat with Coach Bush just about the relationship between her and Coach Garner. Said it goes all the way back to their playing days. And some shoelaces needed to be tied. And maybe a slight cut as well for Abby Ferguson, so she will get tended to by the athletic training staff. But, Cece, we can elaborate on it a little bit as far as Bush and Garner are concerned. Relationship goes all the way back to their playing days when Bush was at Holy Cross, Garner, of course, at Lafayette, members of the Patriot League, and they had kept up that relationship. Coach Bush saying they sort of came up together as coaches. Obviously overlapped here last year, and now Shannon Bush an opportunity to lead her own program and call the shots as the head coach in Hamilton for the Raiders.
And to do so in the Patriot League, a league that she's extremely familiar with as well.
Bear picks up her dribble, 8 on the timer, and a jump ball called. Yeah, it was interesting. Shannon sharing with us. She told Coach Garner earlier today when they were catching up this morning, look, I'm rooting for you guys every game this season except for tonight.
Except for tonight. But it's nice to know that this is a matchup where it's pretty friendly, right? You got a lot of history, a lot of fun today, and Colgate's leading right now.
Majette gets it to fall as the shot clock expires. 13-point buffer for the Raiders, who find themselves now on a 10-0 run once again. Final minute of the first half. Vivian Nee corrals, kick out Jackson, jab step, three-pointer, no good. Shot clock goes dark. Colgate can hold if they want, but it doesn't look like they want to hold. Matthews in transition, she was fouled. So Colgate now, CC, this already their second 10-0 run of the ball game. We saw a 10-0 run in the first quarter. We've got another one here in this second.
And I think that is a testament to the power of the depth that we were talking about so early in the game. I mean, Maybound is off the court, and here they are still producing, and that's something that is special, and that's something that Cornell needs to be on a watch for, and hopefully in the halftime have a conversation about to make a comeback.
Matthews rattles home the first. The sophomore from Florida had 16 points off the bench last game in only 17 minutes played. Raiders now doubling up the Big Red, 30-15. Cornell in dire need to get the offense figured out. They are just 6 of 25 from the floor in this first half. Vivian Nee falling away. Bank wasn't open. Rebound Colgate, and that's how our first half draws to a close. The Raiders, a statement first two quarters. They hit the halftime break, doubling up Cornell, 30-15. They hold the Big Red to just 24% from the floor in the first half. Suffocating defense for Shannon Bush's crew has them out in front at the break. We'll step aside. Some halftime coverage coming your way. Is set for third quarter action here from Newman Arena. Johnny Gadamowitz, CC Gabriel with you. Raiders coming into play, a perfect 3-0 record and a strong first two quarters propelled by none other than Ella Mabon, one game removed from her 35-burger last time out against New Hampshire. CC not quite on pace for that, but still a very efficient first half for Mabon. Only player in the ballgame who scored in double figures so far.
She's been extremely impressive. You know, she was out in those last couple minutes of the second quarter, but stepping in, there were so many individuals that took initiative on the court. We already seen that Stripe, Majette, Bear, Ferguson, like all of them have been extremely productive, and it's a testament of what Bush has been preaching about depth.
Mabon leading all scorers with 10 in that first half. Cornell trying to get things going offensively, just 23% from the floor as a team through those first two quarters. And now we'll see what this Big Red offense looks like out of the break, what adjustments Emily Garner and her staff were able to implement during their halftime chat. Paige Engels driving her way forward, and a strong start to half number two for the Big Red.
This is what's so important about coming out of the first half, being able to respond. It's all you, as you mentioned, how will you respond? This is how responding, in this case, Paige is responding. Struggled a little bit, was one for three in the field, but jumping straight into it, this is the energy that Cornell needs going in.
Emily Pape, the interception defensively. Cornell looking good on both ends to start. Now they set up the half-court offense. Here's Kelsey Langston, the sophomore from Illinois. Emily Pape at the top of the key, looking for options. Angles coming off a season-high 15 points last time out for the Big Red in the win over Canisius on Sunday. Pape, 5 on the timer. Kaus has to heave and does, gets it to go. Rachel Kaus as the shot clock expires. 4-0 run for the Big Red to start this second half.
What you also notice about how the Big Red are performing right now, they're playing with a lot more speed and intensity. They had a pretty slow game in the first half, but this is where the energy and the speed and the agility and the quick passes are starting to pick up right now.
Colgate still the luxury of an 11-point lead. After ending that second quarter so strong, first shot of half number 2, no good for Mabon. And now Cornell wants to push the pace.
I mean, they're also pushing the pace, too, because you have a lot of ground to cover, as you mentioned before, with 11-point deficit.
Emily Pape rewarded with free throws after her miss. Foul does go against Ella Mabon. Number 3 on her. So already the third foul on Mabon. And CC Shannon Bush doesn't want to take any chances with number 25 in foul trouble. She will send her to the bench for the time being. Pape knocks down the first.
Pape, 33% from the line. A little bit of a struggle there, but she makes this one. And as we mentioned in the first half, every single free throw counts, especially if Cornell wants to make up this deficit here.
2 for 2 trip. So it's a 6-0 run for Emily Garner's crew to open up this second half. Hot start. Defense has been stifling here. Pape on Majette. Kaus comes to help, but Majette can't knock it down. Offensive rebound, Ferguson. Strife from range. Got it! Amara Strife stops that 6-0 run. Player down, though, is Majette. Slow to get up on the far right end. 5 on 4, and Pape cashes in with a 3. Whistle, though, with Majette down, and the attention immediately turning towards the Colgate senior. Being tended to by the athletic training staff. Didn't appear to see anything too egregious. Cece, I don't know if you caught anything, but obviously in a situation like this, you're hoping just maybe a cramping type situation. But right now, obviously the concern on Majette, the senior from New Jersey for the Raiders. And now they will help her up onto her own 2 feet. And good to see her able to put pressure on it and make her way over towards the trainer's table.
Yeah, didn't catch exactly what happened in that play. We just saw Strife make that shot. But as you mentioned before, nice to see that she's on her feet right now.
That was a scary instance. Cornell had a 5 on 4 with Majette still down on the far right end. That's why they were able to cash in on the Pape 3-pointer. Don't look now. Cornell has cut it to 9. And, of course, we will keep you posted if we do hear any further updates as far as the status of Majette. So a hot start for the Big Red here to open up quarter number 3. Strife from range. Tries another. Different result that time. And a loose ball foul against Cornell. Clark Jackson gets tagged with the personal. Bear hasn't had her best night so far. Only 3 points in her return from injury. Good feed down low, off the glass and in. Grace Clegg seeing her first bit of action, and it immediately pays dividends. Colgate pushes the lead back to double digits, an 11-point buffer for the Raiders. Jackson, the Swiss Army knife of this Big Red squad. She can do a little bit of everything. Haven't really called her name a ton so far tonight. Foul off the ball. See if they tag it against you. Does go against the Raiders, and more specifically Clegg, the Bucknell transfer, who's in her 3rd year with this Raiders program. Clegg got a hand on it. Colgate takes it away. Raiders trying to turn defense into offense. In transition, Bear, burst of speed. Strife in the corner. Bear and Strife playing catch. Bear spots up for three. She got it. And Bear from downtown.
Talked about how about picking up the pace, huh? I mean, this is exactly the energy that you need now. 38-24, Colgate, but the level of aggression is up. You're seeing that both teams are producing offensively, and we're seeing also maybe that's going to cause a little bit more of a foul to make sure that you remain disciplined on the court as well.
Emily Pape good from the mid-range. Yeah, you mentioned it, Cece. Feels like we're seeing an offensive uptick, particularly from a Cornell standpoint. Pape now in double figures. She's got 11. Ten on the timer for the Raiders. Bear calls the play. The senior point guard, preseason All-Patriot Leaguer. Strife tries from range once more. Not that time. Angles the rebound. Lost control. Colgate takes it away. Active hands defensively from Ferguson to come up with the steal. And Colgate will wait for reinforcements. And now set up their half-court offense. Glad going to work down low. Offensive foul.
At this point, every possession matters. And one of the also aspects as we talk about the pace of this game, it means that you're getting closer and closer to tying the game. It gets closer and closer to winning. And that's a lot of what we're seeing here between Clag and the rest.
Pape from range. Got it! Emily Pape on fire in this third quarter. 16 points for the senior. And Cornell cuts it to single digits. Deficit back to 9.
This is what we were talking about, Johnny, about how you need a single player to go ahead and run the game. In this case, it's Pape. On the other side, they need Maybon to step up and do that same thing.
And Maybon hasn't played much of this third quarter due to foul trouble. Cook zigzags her way forward. And they say Cornell basketball. Looks like she tiptoed that end line a little too much. Out of play. Cornell to take over. Big Red have cut it to 9. They're on a 5-0 run. We'll step aside. 16 points on the night, 10 of which CC have come in this third quarter alone. If there is an area to nitpick for the Big Red, though, nobody else has more than 4 points outside of Pape's 16. Jump ball on the floor and a battle for possession between Langston and Laura Cook. Number counterparts, a pair of 21s, battling for control there on the deck. Possession arrow points Colgate's way, so the Raiders will take over up 9, middle stages here, third quarter.
Johnny, if there's any player that you want to step up from the Big Red right now, who would you want to step up other than Pape?
I think Rachel Kaus has shown that she can do it time and time again. That's who I would settle on. She's had the hot hand in the early portion of this season. But we'll see how it unfolds over this last quarter and a half. In the meantime, open window for Ferguson. She just slipped through the cracks there defensively.
Pretty easy play on that one, but it's about picking up, responding, and coming back with a sense of aggressiveness, what we've seen from Cornell so far.
Langston locates Kaus on the roll, and Kaus is fouled. Kaus so good at absorbing that contact on the low block. Emily Garner calls her really a mismatch problem, right? Rachel Kaus standing 6 feet tall, someone who's got the shooting capabilities of a guard and can put it on the floor, but can certainly body you up and go to work down on the low block too. Creates a mismatch problem for so many teams.
And extremely efficient from the free throw line, 10 for 12 so far on the season.
Kaus 18 points in the win over New Hampshire, also 18 points in the win over Mercyhurst prior to that. Been a little bit of a quieter night for her tonight offensively. She's up to 6 after the pair of makes there. Big Red hanging tough, but still plenty of work to do, down 9. Cook off the window, not there. Rebound Pape. By the way, sorry, Cece, not to cut you off. Kennedy Parrott into the contest.
Great minds think alike once again. I was just about to say, Parrott is in.
Seeing her first bit of run Yeah, do beg your pardon from earlier. Thought we saw her check in that second quarter. Got our 0 and 8 confused as far as numbers go. Jackson off the window. That's in for 2. And Cornell trims it to 7.
Jackson, been a little bit quiet today, has been fairly impactful throughout the season, but again, who's going to choose to step up in this moment? You got a lot of great depth. You have players that can shoot, but it's been a struggle because of the defense, but they've been picking things up so far.
Parrott 3-ball off the side of the backboard. And now all of a sudden, feels like Colgate's gone cold offensively. It's a 9-2 run for the Big Red over the last 3.5. Angles keeps it herself. Paige Angles off the glass. We got a 5-point ball game.
We saw a huge deficit, but this is the power of a halftime. Seeing those conversations, I'm so curious to know what was in the head.
And Bear says, not so fast. Don't forget about me. Colgate back up 8.
So curious to know what was in the head of Garner at that time when all those things were happening, when you saw a deficit, being able to come back. It's something that's exciting. It's something that's powerful for a home opener here in Newman.
Colgate once led this game by 15. Angles is fouled. She will go to the stripe for a pair. Laura Cook tagged with the shooting foul. That will put Angles at the line. Cornell is a team far from great from the line today, just 4 of 7. That is an ugly 57%. Too many points left up for grabs. Angles does her part, though. Makes the first. And now we'll try to make it a 2-for-2 trip.
See that Maybon is checked in. You see things are getting pretty serious here at Newman.
Yeah, that presence was missed. With number 25 on the bench. That's right when Cornell erupted. But they do have Maybon back out there now. See if that can turn the tide for Colgate here in the third. It's Maybon working on Langston. Putting on the moves. Lost the basketball. Langston stripped it away. Jackson thought about the 3, then thought better of it. Angles working on her defender. Draws the double. Kick out Cows. 6 on the timer. Jackson, open J. No good. Rebound Pape. Pape, baby hook. Yes! Emily Pape. 12 points in this third quarter alone. She's up to 18, and the deficit is 4.
The energy is electric here. Being able to see Pape produce. This is what she does. You can see her seniority shining through right now. This is what Cornell needs.
She has taken over this ball game. Colgate trying to stop the bleeding. Pape got a hand on it. Great job to get in the passing lane. 2-on-2. Pape feeds Cows. Off the glass. It's in. 2-point ball game. Turning defense into offense. The Big Red knocking on the door of coming all the way back from down 15.
Driving in the paint, being a lot more aggressive. That's not something that we saw in the first half. They weren't driving in the paint. A lot of swinging of the ball, as we mentioned before, but now they were moving with a lot of a faster pace. They are getting into the arc. This is what they need right now.
3-pointer, no good. Rebound, Maybon, but the third quarter expires. Cornell trims it to a 2-point ball game, capped by a monster third quarter from Emily Pape. Don't go anywhere. Crunch time in Newman. Fourth quarter coming up right after this. Cornell squad all the way back in this game. They trail by just 2 as we welcome you back to Newman Arena. Johnny Gadamowitz, CC Gabriel with you. Remember, Colgate once led this game by 15 points, but Pape went scorched earth in that third quarter and brought this Cornell squad to where they are now, knocking on the door here as we kickstart the fourth.
And she knows how to turn up the heat because you know when you're going against almost like your former associate head coach, you got to show off and say, hey, I still got it, right?
A stark reminder for Shannon Bush, yes. 5 on the timer. Angles hopscotches forward and flicks it in. Tie ball game. 43-all off the lay-in from Paige Angles.
Same thing we saw from last quarter. We had the hot start with that layup. Here she goes again. Hot starts from Angles.
Angles has had a productive night. She's up to 10 points. Cornell, another takeaway on the defensive end. Jackson in transition. Lost control. Last touch by Colgate, though. It was Abby Ferguson who got a hand in there. So the Big Red to keep. Yeah, Angles becoming out just the second Big Red player to hit double digits. Pape, of course, with 18, and now Paige Angles with 10.
And Cal's super close with 8. Very, very close. If we can see even more for her to just bring this game and drive it home here at Newman, it could be big for them.
Colgate in transition tries to kickstart something. Maybon has not had her fingerprints on this second half nearly as much as the first. And Bears 3 no good. Rebound fought for. Jackson snags it for the Big Red.
Angle's just a sophomore on the team. You see we've talked about that throughout the game, that you have a healthy mix of sophomores and first years that have been taking initiative in this game so far.
3 on 3. Another turnover for the Raiders. That's their 13th of the night. And it feels like so many of them have come over the course of this second half alone.
Yes, this is something that the Raiders have struggled with. They have had several turnovers. This is something that you could see shining throughout. First, in the first half, it was like, okay, they keep it steady, but a lot at this point of the game, especially with the tie right now.
Emily Garner wisely calling timeout as Emily Pape grabbed control as she hit the deck. We welcome you back to Newman Arena, a tie ball game here in a fantastic non-conference battle between Cornell and Colgate on a Tuesday night in November. Colgate once led this game by 15 points. Feels like an eternity ago at this point. Cornell has turned on the Jets in this second half because of shots like that from Emily Pape. Just didn't get that one to fall.
And we talked about that huge run that has taken place previously with Colgate. But a lot of it was due to the fact in terms of losing it because Maybon was out with 3 personal fouls, and her lack of presence has definitely shown in this game.
She is out on the court now.
So she is.
Ready for the stretch run of this fourth quarter.
But it is in moments like these, Johnny, where we said, of course we're going to put in Maybon because of how productive she's been with 10 points on the day.
Oh, yeah. 7 on the timer. Jackson into the lane. Jackson off the glass. Can't get it to go, but free throws coming.
Now, Jackson has not had too big of a day when you look at one half of the stat board, but she has had 27 minutes on the court, and it shows that there are also other aspects of the game where she is able to contribute defensively, I can imagine.
Hasn't been her most efficient scoring day, just 2 of 8 from the floor, but she does make the first free throw. And the Big Red now out in front by a point from 15 down all the way back.
Throughout the season, Jackson 80% from the free throw line, and she doesn't get this one, but Colgate will take it.
Cornell's first lead since the middle stages of the first quarter, but a short-lived lead at that because you tack on 2 more for the Raiders. Tatiana Matthews in transition.
Matthews enters the game, but we haven't seen Majette in a little bit. We haven't heard her name in a while, but she did have a pretty outstanding time while she was in the game. Hope that she's okay.
Again, single digits on the shot clock. Big Red have to hurry. Pape, entry feed, chucks it up, no good. Loose ball foul against Colgate. It'll stay with the Big Red. They're going to hit and bear with the personal. Only foul number 1 on her. No crazy foul trouble to monitor outside of the aforementioned Maybon with 3. Raiders lead it by 1. Angles atop the arc. Jackson. Again, single digits. Pape from way downtown. Well, too short.
Now, moments like these where it's extremely tense, you got to wonder, okay, which one is better to go with? Should you go with the 3-ball or should you attack the paint? In my opinion, I think you should go ahead and go into the hole and drive there.
Matthews trying to drive,
and there she
gets it
goes.
to go, and one for Tatiana Matthews.
And there she goes. We talked about the drive. There you go. Got it.
Right on cue for the sophomore. Three-point lead for Colgate. And Matthews at the line for one more, trying to make this a two-possession game. No good. Lead stays 3. Colgate as a team tonight, they haven't gotten to the line very much. They are 3 of 5 from the free throw line. Cornell hanging tough. They've outscored Colgate by 12 in this second half. Cows punched it up in the air. Extra life for the Big Red. Fresh shot clock. Cows back to the basket. Scoops it up and is fouled. Cows so good at drawing the contact down. Quarter number 4, the Raiders have seen their 15-point lead shrink all the way down to 3. Cornell actually was out in front by 1 a couple of minutes ago, but Colgate has reasserted its cushion, albeit a small one, here in the fourth quarter. An off-ball whistle, some contact occurring between Rachel Kaus and Amara Strife, and it looks like they're going to hit Amara Strife with the off-ball foul. So number 4 on Strife. So that now becomes a situation worth monitoring as she heads to the bench, 1 foul away from fouling out.
Strife has been productive. 8 points and 5 rebounds on the day with 3 assists. Done some playmaking here.
Engels from downtown. Yes, sir. Paige Engels pulls the Big Red even. Her first trifecta of the night, and it's a huge one at that.
Talked about her being efficient in clutch moments. How about that one, right?
Traveling violation against Colgate. Cornell ball. Cece feels like everything breaking the Big Red's way right now.
I'd have to agree, and especially with that travel. That travel's been called on Colgate a couple of times now throughout this game. But this is when those fouls and discipline on the court really matters.
Raiders have turned it over 16 times tonight. Jackson travels. And Cornell coughs it right back up.
With every play comes that tension, being able to say, okay, can I get on the breakaway? Can I get in the paint? Can I set the pick and roll? All of these things that really, really matter. Still 4 minutes left, some time to go, but it's tied now.
Three-pointer on the way from Cook. No good. Offensive rebound. A loose ball foul against Cornell.
As that 3 was just taken by the Raiders, we saw earlier in the game that Colgate was dominating in that front, but now they're shooting only 26% from 3, and now it's Cornell shooting 37% with a 3-ball.
Foul goes against Clark Jackson, number 2 on her. Maybon's had the hot hand all night, though cooled off a little bit in this second half. Maybon gets it right back on the low block. It's in. Ella Maybon up to 12 points on the night and puts the Raiders back in front by a pair.
Raiders needed her back in that game. She had a couple of tricky moments with fouls, but she's back and she says, I'm back and better than ever.
Pape for 3. No good. Too strong. Colgate an opportunity to make this a 2-possession game here. Whistle on the court, though. And Ella Maybon down. Training staff going to come out and tend to her. I'm not quite sure where it came from. But Shannon Bush going to call her squad over to the bench. Emily Garner will do the same. And it will be an official charge timeout against Colgate, it appears. Or perhaps maybe not. Cornell back out onto the court already. Attention turning towards Maybon. I'm not quite sure what happened. Maybe she just a slight limp. Didn't appear to see any contact. but she kind of gingerly making her way over. Let's take another peek here. Watch. Oh, yeah, 25 took some contact from Clark Jackson as those two sort of bumped knees, it looks like. That never a fun feeling. So Maybon to the bench, and that could be paramount here with 3:10 to go in the ballgame.
The second injury for the Raiders. Majette was out earlier, and now Maybon. We were just talking about how she was on fire, so we'll see how that depth plays into the Raiders this time around.
And we haven't seen Majette return since. 2 on the timer. Bear, step back 2, swish! And Bear, step back, Jay, as the shot clock expires.
Bear says, okay, Maybon's out. He said, don't worry, I got you. Let me get the 3. I got it. And that shows the initiative we've taken her. She's had a quieter day, but she's able to come back in clutch moments.
Tape for 3, way off. Out of play, Colgate basketball. And CC feels like slowly but surely you can feel that momentum tipping further and further in Colgate's direction.
It's with every shot, as we mentioned. Bear getting back into it. Now she's in the double digits. 11 points on the day. 4 assists for her, too. A playmaker. Again, we may not see a lot of buckets from her, but she's been around the court elsewhere.
Always involved. In the meantime, Maybon back into the game. And looks A-OK from our vantage point. 6-point lead for the Raiders.
One of the things that Coach mentioned for the Raiders is about being able to celebrate each other in these moments. Intense moments, how do you respond? And in terms of them, they respond by celebrating.
You want to take the glass half full approach for Cornell here. They're no stranger to playing in close games. A lot of the Big Reds games early on in the season have come down to the wire, so this is something they're used to. They feed Langston down low. Layup no good. Shot clock violation. Colgate basketball. Cornell didn't get a high-quality look. Just took up too much time. And now the Raiders control possession. And CCU can be sure that they are going to try to milk this clock as much as possible here.
We'll see, we've been talking about the on and off between, okay, how long do you want to keep the ball? What kind of plays do you want to make? So far, it's really been Colgate that's been the playmaker here. So I'm confident in them pertaining to how they use their time.
Big Red took down Mercyhurst by just 4 a couple of games ago. They fell to Pitt by only 2 the contest before that. They've been in crunch time scenarios like this. Maybon deep 2, no good. Rebound swatted around, right to the breadbasket of Paige Engels. Big Red have to hurry. 70 seconds to go. They trail by 6. Jackson picks it up. Engels lost control. Oh, she wasn't looking. And a miscommunication between Jackson and Engels is going to gift wrap Colgate possession right back. That is a mistake you just cannot make at this juncture in the ball game.
It's been a lot of back and forth, and the mistakes have to be minimal. Less than almost a minute on the clock. Minimize those mistakes here on the court.
Colgate can maybe put this thing on ice with a bucket here. Shannon Bush calling timeout. And we'll talk things over with 58 seconds to go. All right, so CC, break it down for me. Take me inside that Cornell huddle. If you're Emily Garner, down 6, only 58 seconds to work with. What's the messaging right now from a Cornell standpoint?
From this standpoint, we talked about minimizing these mistakes. This is when communication has to be key. That previous play that nearly threw them off, May can still throw them off, honestly. And then this is when you want to get Taus involved. We talk about her efficiency when it comes to being able to draw those fouls. If there's any time she wants to do that, it would have to be now. We'll see how Colgate utilizes possession, but if Cornell gets that possession back, that's what they want to do offensively.
It was a 12-point third quarter for Emily Pape. She's been held scoreless in the 4th so far. Pape still leading all scorers with 18. But Colgate has maintained its offensive efficiency, shooting 48% from the floor as a team. Comparatively speaking, Cornell only at 35%. Colgate basketball, 22 on the timer to work with. And Cornell is going to immediately intentionally foul. So with 55 seconds to go, Cornell is going to opt to play the long game and try to intentionally foul. If you can't get the steal, maybe force Colgate into a couple of misses at the stripe. They inbound. Let's see if they immediately foul yet again, and they do. It's Langston, the perpetrator. And now the Raiders will continue to control possession. They are not quite in the bonus yet, so they need to inbound once more. And again, that foul comes immediately. Kaus picks up the personal. And that is obviously what Cornell is opting to do at this point. They're going to put the pressure on the Raiders and make them earn it at the line. A place where, again, they haven't been very much tonight. 3 of 5 from the stripe to this point. First one down the hatch. Abby Ferguson makes good on it. And the lead is now 7.
I believe this is the first time she's been at the line all season.
2 for 2 trip. It's an 8-point ball game. Couple of big free throws there for the Raiders. And now this mountain, CC, just got that much steeper for Cornell to have to continue to climb.
We talked about it before. You asked me the question. I get to ask you the question. What are you going to be talking about if you're in this huddle right now?
I think it has to be either a 3 or an immediate 2. I think that is where you go to. You're thinking 3 ball out of the break. Try to set a screen for one of your better shooters. If you can get Emily Pape the open look from range, maybe Rachel Kaus as well. But I think at this point, down by 8 with under 60 to go, you got to start thinking 3 ball or bust. And if it's not going to be a 3, it's got to be a very quick 2. You can ill afford to take up clock here and not have a 3-pointer to show for it at the end of this possession.
We saw 2 times in the game, Angles just driving to the hole and getting that one. If it's anyone to make the 2, maybe her.
Kaus beyond the arc. Cornell's got to hurry. Emily Garner hollering from the sidelines. There's the quick 2. So they get the deuce from Angles on the lay-in. That will cut it to 6 with 43 and change remaining. And now another timeout on the floor. And you'd imagine, CC, Cornell is going to continue to play the intentional foul game and hope for a couple of misses.
Yeah, as you're saying, playing the long game, 43 seconds feels like a million years sometimes when you're especially in this moment, but rightfully so. They have worked their way up here. We saw before, this is not the same game that we saw in the half where they were struggling with over a 15-point deficit. They have now clawed their way back. We saw before, you mentioned before, how this is something that they're used to with close games. They endure as a team, and I'm excited to see how this is going to come out.
A reminder, fans, don't go anywhere post-game. We're hoping to have CC check in with member of some squad after the game, TBD, who we'll be chatting with, but hope to have you with us for that. And then we invite you to stick with us after this one as well. More on that in a moment. And a foul immediately on the floor. Cornell intentionally playing the foul game at this point. Does go against Clark Jackson. And that will put Mabon right back at the stripe. Anyway, just to finish the point, today a doubleheader right after this. The Cornell men's squad. Also, its home opener today here at Newman. Big Red welcoming in the Black Knights of Army. And tip there, slated for 8 p.m. Have a feeling it's probably going to be a little bit after that, but we invite you to navigate over to that separate link to stream over on ESPN+. We'll be 30 minutes following the conclusion of this one officially. And another timeout with the lead now 7 for the Raiders after a 1-for-2 trip. So again, things looking a bit dire here for the Big Red. On the night, Emily Pape, 18 points, has connected on 4 trifectas. But the Big Red shooting just 36% as a team. They have forced Colgate into 15 turnovers. But CC, it's been that offensive efficiency from the Raiders. 48% from the floor, certainly nothing to scoff at. And the offense for Colgate has proven to be a little too much for Cornell to handle thus far.
I have to agree with that. And you've been talking about, we've consistently talked about depth throughout this game, and you see it within Colgate, between Bear and Mabon, and Ferguson as well, who has gradually made her way up, plus Strife. But then on Cornell's side, you have Pape, you have Angles, you have Kaus, all of them being able to chip in where as needed to get to the game where it is now with 56-49.
Down by 7, 38 seconds and change remaining. Emily Garner and her staff talking things over. Of course, year 2 at the helm for Coach Garner. Her Big Red out to a 2-2 start. Next up for Cornell, trip up a little bit north of here. They'll hit the road to take on Lemoyne in Syracuse on Saturday afternoon at a 4 p.m. tip. As for Colgate, they'll hit the road for Quinnipiac in Connecticut, that on Sunday afternoon. Angles for 3, swish! Big Red not going down without a fight. We got a 4-point ball game as Engels from some serious range. Cornell on life support here, but the Engels three-pointer enables them to continue to hang in this contest for the time being as we take another peek.
Engels, this is something nearly matching her amount of time on the court from her last game against Canisius, 36 minutes. We're at 35 minutes now, but she had 15 points on the day. A highly efficient sophomore on the team, sophomore forward, who has been dominating. We saw that switch turn on right at the beginning of the second quarter, or rather in the second part of the second half. She has been on fire and an integral part of this team's success today.
For Engels, she is now up to 18 points. That is a career high for the sophomore. A career day for Engels. 7 of 11, efficient too. Again, another immediate foul. Clark Jackson fouling Ann Bear to stop the clock at 33.7. And again, Cornell is going to have to cross its fingers, CC, for a couple of Colgate misses here at the line. They are 6 of 9 from the stripe so far tonight. And Ann Bear specifically, who is at the line right now, attempting her first free throws of the evening. First one up, first one good. Lead is 5.
Bears had a slow start in the beginning, but as soon as if we remember that Mabon had stepped out due to that hit that she had, she was able to turn that switch on, and she's also been very important in this game.
2 for 2 trip. Lead is 6. Langston for 3. No dice. Rebound fought for. Cow snatches it. Jackson puts it up, gets it to go for 2. Cornell trims it to 4, but right now time not on their side. Only 22 seconds remaining. And again, Cornell fouling to put Ann Bear at the line.
Bear has been 75% from the free throw line throughout the season. Had 22 points when she faced Siena. See if she can do it again.
Knocks down the first. So Bear has made it 3 for 3 over the course of the last 10 seconds or so of game time. Trying to put this thing on ice for the Raiders. 2 for 2 trip once more. And Bear, cool, calm, and collected. Going to work at the free throw line. Lead is 6. Engels spots up for 3. No good. Rebound, out of bounds. Cornell basketball. 13.7 to go. Deficit is 6. Now or never territory for the Big Red. Jackson looking for the open teammate. Gets it to Cows. 12 on the timer. Engels spots up from 3. In and out. It'll stay with Cornell with 6.7 to go. Shannon Bush, first head coach in Colgate history to hop out to a 3-0 start in year 1 at the helm, trying to make it 4-0. They get it to Kaus, puts it on the deck, off the glass, no good. Rebound Raiders, and Colgate comes to Newman and handles business despite letting a 15-point lead evaporate.